All right, testosterone training. What is it? Why do we have it? Why do we want to focus on it? Testosterone. So what I'm going to be doing with these videos in this particular module, I'm going to be breaking down what I've written here and elaborating on points, going into personal anecdotes. If you don't have time for that, feel free to read on by yourself. Go through the module as quick as possible, get to work, take action, let me know how you get on. So testosterone is a hormone. Hormones, what are hormones? They are chemical messengers that are responsible for pretty much every process in the body. Also, you can kind of look at them as the reason why we have really specific emotions. Yes, we can be sparked into a certain emotional response from an external stimulus. So me seeing a sad event, registering it in my mind, and then resulting in reduced dopamine, serotonin, and increased whatever the fuck. Same can happen on an internal place. So I can think of a memory that can spark a reduction in dopamine, a withdrawal of serotonin, and make me feel sad, and can result in me having lowered and altered hormone function, which will result in me expressing myself in a certain way to my external environment. So there's things that are on an external stimulus affecting what hormones are being expressed and increased and decreased. And there's things on the internal that are doing the same as well. So when we talk about diet, there's a lot of foods and drinks that are sparking an absolutely horrific increase in estrogen in both men and women in the modern age. Everything from plastics, phytoestrogens. So phytoestrogens, what they are, there's male and female humans, male and female animals. There's also male and female parts of plants. So plants, fruits, vegetables, things like hops in a beer. It's the female aspect of that plant that's then broken down and fermented into, that's not the fermenting process, is it? It's brewed into beer. That's why beer is such a high phytoestrogen, beer and wine. Wine is another one, it's a different process, but beer itself is a high phytoestrogen count because it's made out of the female element of that plant. That's why hop-free beer is becoming popular, especially in like the craft beer scene. Highly recommend you switch just straight to vodkas and minimize the beer exposure as much as possible. So that's just one element, let alone the specific oils and nuts and and soy products that are absolutely destroying your testosterone levels. And once you start to destroy your testosterone levels on an internal side, it will affect how you externally respond, your self-worth, your self-confidence, your libido, your heart health. Testosterone itself, it's responsible for male sex characteristics, but also obviously libido, muscle mass, your ability to put on muscle mass, your ability to take fat off the body, heart regulation, heart muscle regulation, brain function, and it's correlated with the amount of bone density that you have. That's also with estrogen as well. So there's this symbiotic relationship with testosterone and cortisol, the stress hormone, and estrogen and a bunch of other hormones in the body. When one of them is up for way too long and it's chronic or acute, so if it's long lasting or it's short lasting, it'll have a dramatic effect on testosterone. And if you've been growing up in these environments where we've got these chemicals in our consumer goods, both grooming and in our literal tap water, you'll be fucking shocked to know how much estrogen and birth control is actually in common tap water because it's not filtrated correctly from the major water plants in most Western countries, because they're just recycling the water that we are flushing down the toilet. These little things that you just never think about. You're literally drinking estrogen-rich water plus fluoride out of the tap, which is a known neurochemical which affects testosterone on an internal element, which then affects how your body's expressed. So it's no wonder everyone is, not everyone, but it's no wonder that the testosterone levels are crashing, not crashing, but they've been steadily declining versus men who were, I guess, 40, 50, 60 years ago. We've been declining on average year after year after year. Not only that, but the average lifespan I know in America is just, it's starting to decrease. So it's almost reached its peak of lifespan. And now the chemicals in our environment, the way that we're living, the genetically modified food, having these effects on the chemicals in our body, which is having an effect on our mood, our ability to pursue and be motivated and express these male dominant characteristics, let alone the suppression of male expression and masculinity. And then if that's suppressed, a lot of people don't realize that the testosterone hormone is the pursuit hormone. It's the success hormone. It's a great example is like a boxer. So if a boxer wins a round in a fight, his testosterone levels go up, and his self-confidence will actually increase. It's called the winner effect. It has a lot to do with reticular activating system as well, but it's also a phenomenon seen in spectators who watch their sport teams in football or whatnot. If they see them win a match, their testosterone levels go up. So men, we're highly emotionally driven by the external stimulus of the emotions of those around us, and the obstacles that we are able to overcome and complete and succeed in result in us becoming more motivated and wanting to succeed even more and wanting to get more power and more status, and that in itself increases testosterone, which increases our drive even more, which increases our motivation even more, which increases our success rate even more, increases our self-worth and our self-confidence and our ability even more, and increases our testosterone more. So but it also does the inverse. So when we have a defeat, when we are self-conscious, when we are being a bit of a sad sack Sally, our testosterone levels can decrease. And when our testosterone levels decrease, our libido, our mood, our motivation levels decrease. And when those decrease, then estrogen increases, then chronic stress and cortisol increases. And so it's testosteronetraining.com, what I'm creating in this coaching program, this whole system is, let's fix your ecosystem on an internal and external level so you're fucking winning at life. Pursuant to your goals, your financial goals, your family goals, your relationship goals, your health goals, self-worth goals, traveling adventures, living life to the fullest, not missing out on life goals. This is it's all grounded in the fundamentals of increasing testosterone. And one of the key things that increases in estrogen in our body, which reduces testosterone levels, is having high amounts of body fat on our body. The more body fat that we have, it literally takes estrogen to maintain excess fat in our body. So the more excess fat that we have in our body, the more estrogen that we're producing to maintain the amount of fat that we have in our body. And it's this vicious cycle where we're producing more estrogen, reducing testosterone, being susceptible to things like gynecomastia, so man boobs, erectile dysfunction, so lost libido, becoming softened in the face, not being able to increase our muscle mass, all because we have excess fat on our body, and a reduction of muscle mass, and extra estrogenics in our foods, in our water, in our environments, in our grooming products. This is why testosterone, like I mentioned here, it's the most important biomarker for men's health, because it's so interconnected with everything else. So if you haven't seen it yet, go up to this right-hand corner, tracking T levels. Tracking T levels, it's a video and description and way that I describe. Have I got it here? Track your T levels. Go to this, watch the video, go to this Google Doc, and it'll teach you how to go get your testosterone levels tracked, either for free or to do it through a paid service online. And we want to do this every 3 to 4 months. And then if that's the thing, we want to do it in a very specific way, but let's just say you can't afford it, you don't have time, or you're booking in late, or you're traveling or whatnot. I still reckon you should do it. I would rather get blood tests rather than saliva tests because it's more accurate. And we want to get multiple tests because, again, like, this isn't just, my testosterone's pretty good. Your testosterone might be good, but there might be other factors that are manipulating the hormone, testosterone producing process, or testosterone expression process. So you can have high testosterone levels, but if you have high sex hormone binding globulin, it's a thing that attaches to testosterone when it's in our bloodstream, and it makes our testosterone inert, so not available for use. And if you have excess of this, then you're unlikely to be able to use up the amount of testosterone that you want to be using. So you can have high testosterone levels, but you can have low testosterone availability. And that's something that can be manipulated through diet, through reducing exposures to certain things, through mindset. And this is what the program's about. Beautiful. So yeah, it's a male sex hormone. It's an natural anabolic steroid. Again, like it's the chicken or the egg. So if testosterone's high, your health is usually high. If testosterone's low, health is usually low. But if your health is low, your testosterone's low. It's very interconnected. So, like I mentioned before, it's testosterone. It's been associated with things like brain tissue sustainability. So that's why it's linked with, like, those with low testosterone. Like I just mentioned, low testosterone could be a result of poor health, but poor health could be influenced by having low testosterone. And it's believed that low testosterone, through some studies, is actually causes dementia to come on earlier in life. So therefore, testosterone itself has an immediate impact. The free testosterone that's actually floating in your body and able to be used and having a positive effect on your mind and your ability to be cognizant and express and be masculine and not be anxious. Like, it's has this powerful effect on mood. And therefore, if it has a powerful effect on mood and brain function and brain fog, that has this powerful effect to impact your motivation levels, to your pursuit levels. And if you're having low levels of success and self-worth in life, then it's just going to be this negative domino effect going down and down and down. So get your testosterone checked. Again, these are based on studies and common recurring patterns that testosterone is believed to help fight depression, reduce body fat. You can read into this in more detail here. I've also got it in other elements on this module. How it's associated, like testosterone. When testosterone is at a certain level, it can be affected or affect insulin, glucose levels in the body, and the amount of muscle mass that you have in your body is affected, and fat storage on your body is affecting the amount of estrogen that's being produced. So if we have more testosterone, less estrogen, we're more likely to reduce more fat, increase more muscle mass, increase our metabolism, and therefore lose a bit more fat through excess, having more calorie excess to be burnt. There you go. It's linked to increasing protein synthesis, so protein building and recovery. So muscle recovery and building, strengthening your heart. So it's believed to regulates the heartbeat. I think it's in conjunction with estrogen as well. So that's why estrogen is so important as well. Strengthens bones, so it's associated with osteoporosis in men and women. Increased sex drive, obviously it's so linked to sexual characteristics. And that's it on that note. Like, if let's just say you're not getting blood tests done, are you getting strong heart erections in the morning? Are you getting morning wood? If not, something's wrong with testosterone. Either something's wrong with your testosterone or something's wrong with another hormone or other elements in your body that's causing testosterone to not be expressed fully. And if you're not getting like these hard-on big woods in the morning, then you're probably waking up lethargic, tired, not sleeping right, high cortisol levels, high levels of ghrelin, so you're probably hungry, and it's spiking, causing you to have drops in blood glucose levels, so you feel hungry and you're eating more, and you're in this vicious downward cycle. This is why testosterone is the biomarker for men's health. Alzheimer's, I just mentioned that before. Again, therefore, it's kind of associated with cortisol levels as well. So the more cortisol that we have in a chronic state, cortisol is only meant to be released. It's like the stress hormone, so it's only meant to be released at a very short burst. The more chronic amount of stress that we have from our environment, from our electronics, from scrolling, through media, through stress, through not being successful, for thinking over and over thinking, the more brain fog that we'll have. And obviously that'll be associated with estrogens and fake plants and fake chemicals in our body that's having an effect on your brain's ability to be cognizant. So brain fog. Again, it's the success drive, it's the pursuit drive, it's the I'm invincible hormone. Dominance and power, it's all associated. And read through this in your own time, guys, as well. Masculine traits in the eyes of women. So that's the thing, like, it's one thing to be shredded and jacked, but like these bodybuilders in the latest stages of their prep cycles for competitions, their penises stop working. Like once you get to under 10% body fat, if you're on a super restrictive diet, like in a really bad way of, really poor way of cutting out carbs, or if you're at an eating disorder type extreme level of dieting, then your penis stops working. Like, cause testosterone is so low and your body's trying to conserve so much energy, it's like, I don't need to reproduce, I just need to focus on survival. That's where a lot of weight loss programs fuck up. They give you too low calories, you're working out too much, testosterone gets shot, your motivation levels get shot, cortisol increases and spikes, and eventually leads to the yo-yo and the binges and your inability to be consistent in a diet plan. What was I going with that? Oh yeah, so a lot of guys, we start getting into health and fitness because we're so visual, and our logical, rational brains are like, oh, I really like physically attractive women, I'm going to become more physically attractive, therefore women are going to be more attracted to me. It's our caveman brain way of thinking, and obviously there's obviously studies done where women are ovulating. When they ovulate at that peak, like they're more attracted to lads who are more jacked and alpha and displaying those traits of masculinity and dominance and dominance and being of higher social status. There's 100% evidence for that. And those lads who are like jacked and healthy, I think there's pheromones in some studies that were done with women who smelt the clothing of men at certain times of the month. And the women who are ovulating and ready for sex, wanting sex, when they're at that time of the month, they're more attracted to blokes that are more jacked and ripped. But it's only going to happen for a few days out of the month, guys. And like the rest of those 20 days in, I guess, a woman's cycle, she's looking for more of a provider male on a biological, intrinsical way. But she doesn't want these. She just doesn't want you to be an unsuccessful kind of, I hate to use these terms, but like beta, loser kind of schlump. She wants you to be the leader. She wants you to be the one taking charge, being responsible, like being the one that drives the car where it needs to go, the one that put her in her place when she wants to be put in her place, in a healthy way, not like in obviously a negative way. And this comes from developing masculine behavioral traits that are associated with high natural testosterone levels, being confident in yourself, being successful. Like these pursuit hormones are no joke, and they can seep into like the natural increase of testosterone just from working out, improving your diet and chemical exposures, getting quality sleep, reducing stress, getting on a roll of having success in life. It'll seep into these behavioral traits, will seep into your business, into your ability to either be successful in entrepreneurship, be successful in taking more risks in marketing campaigns, being more structured and wanting to be more time disciplined, wanting to get shit done, wanting to be higher in status, wanting to have more power, wanting like these traits, although they've been demonized in society, and a lot of lads have been feminized in society these days. Like, these are the traits that women are most attracted to. And it comes from a core of higher testosterone expression, so higher free testosterone levels. So you can have mid to low testosterone, but if you have low sex hormone binding globulin, low albumin rates, you can actually have higher free testosterone levels than someone who might have high T. I'll go into it in the modules coming up. This is why it's so important to have your diet on point, your chemical exposure on point, because it feeds into dating, it feeds into career, it feeds into self-worth, self-expression, your ability to provide and build and look after and respect and love family members and mates. Beautiful. Social intelligence comes from it. Testosterone increases risk-taking and reduces anxiousness. So that ties into your ability to want to go after having higher self-worth and believing in yourself. So that pursuit hormone, which will feed into other elements of success in life. So where does it come from? I've written 7 mg here of testosterone per day is what we produce in our testicles, about 95%. The rest comes mainly from your adrenals, so your above your kidneys, where your adrenaline is produced. And on a side note, women will produce most of their testosterone from their adrenals. So this is the thing, like when you find a woman who's high testosterone, high masculinity, high masculine traits, a lot of her testosterone masculine traits have come from her adrenals, which are always paired with increased cortisol levels. So you'll find that these women later on in life who are highly masculine traits and high testosterone levels, they burn out hard at one point internally. Kidney problems, unfortunately, because like they drive their testosterone in a stressful way, because it's paired with cortisol. Whereas men, we produce it in our testes. It's relaxing. It's therapeutic for us. We are built differently. We're different creatures. So I've written 7 mg. Like usually it's between 3 to 10, and it's complex. So that's it. Because it's a complex process. I'll show it up here in a diagram. There's ways that testosterone can be reduced, even though you have high testosterone. So it's broken down into 3 categories: free testosterone, sex hormone bound testosterone, and albumin. So you can have total testosterone, let's just say 100 points out of 100. You can have 100 points of testosterone, but if you have too much sex hormone binding globulin, I'll start from scratch. So testosterone, let's just say you've made 100 points. I'll just say points. 100 out of 100 testosterone is being made in your body. About 1 to 3% is just free floating in your body, ready to be used, ready to be jacked, ready to be made into muscle. It's influencing the bone structure in your body, the way you're thinking, your cognition. It's being used for heart regulation. It's just like ready to go. You got these 2 to 3% of all your testosterone levels in your body. It's just in your bloodstream, in your body, floating around androgen receptors, testosterone receptors, going, all right, let's do this. I'm ready. It's got his tools. He's ready to be used. And it's literally only 1.5 to 3.5%. Fucking sucks. 40 to 50% of that testosterone is bound to sex hormone binding globulin. It's a good thing. It's good and bad, because that's the thing. Like we want to be on like the low ranges of normal for sex hormone binding globulin, because that just means we're gonna have more testosterone in our body, which is what makes you feel like a superhero, loving life, and able to be more superior in muscle building, fat loss, drive, motivation, mood, libido. But we don't want to have sex hormone binding globulin too low to the point where it's unsafe and you've got excess testosterone, which is causing illness and disease long term. So it is a good thing, but we don't want to have too much. And that's the thing, you and your environment, the plastics, estrogenics, the food, the way your mental, it's probably not so much your mental, but your environments, your plastics, your food, your drink, that's what's probably increasing to, it's leading to increases in sex hormone binding globulin, and a lack of certain dietary vitamins and minerals are leading to an increase in sex hormone binding globulin as well. So you're probably, you've probably got less than 3.5% testosterone roaming free around your body, purely because this is too high. And if we can reduce this, your life will fucking change. Literally, your testosterone levels, slight boost in testosterone, fucking mean the world. And albumin bound. So albumin, it's similar to sex hormone binding globulin in the fact that it binds to testosterone as soon as it's released from your testicles, but it's only loosely bound. So it can be pulled apart easily to be made free testosterone. So bioavailable testosterone is free testosterone plus albumin bound. Anything that's sex hormone bound globulin, testosterone, it can't be used. It's inert. So we want to focus on increasing free testosterone and increasing albumin bound testosterone and total testosterone as well. But we need to make that demand for the albumin bound. Otherwise, it's just chilling. It's just waiting. It's waiting. It's like cash in a bank account. It's just waiting to be invested or spent. Just waiting. And then if you never create that demand for it to be invested or spent, it's just sitting there. It's just going to depreciate. And it's just worthless if you don't make that demand for albumin bound testosterone. So that's weight training, and activities and expressions that will boost or increase testosterone use. Bioavailable, beautiful, I just mentioned that. So this is the pathway. So it starts off in the hypothalamus in the brain. It'll signal to your pituitary gland through the gonadotropin releasing hormone. Is that right? Yep. It'll tell the pituitary, look, I've realized that we don't have enough testosterone in the body. Get your shit together. Pituitary will start to release follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone into the bloodstream, and through the blood it's just trekking along all the way down to your testicles, and then it tells the Leydig cells, hey, start converting cholesterol, so healthy fats, start the healthy version of cholesterol, start turning fats into testosterone. And the Leydig cells in your testicles are like, gotcha, boss. And then it's a complicated process of many different hormone processes that eventually convert shit into testosterone release. And then as soon as testosterone is released into the bloodstream, it's either immediately jumped onto by sex hormone binding globulin or albumin, or it's just chilling out, releasing free in the bloodstream. And then once the pituitary gland, realizes, I've got enough. Once the hypothalamus or pituitary, once it realizes I've got enough testosterone in the bloodstream, it signals to stop the production of luteinizing hormone, and therefore testosterone starts being produced. So a lot of things, as you can see, it's a little bit complicated, and there's a huge complicated process that happens in the testicles. So obviously, if you have a problem with your hypothalamus, it will affect testosterone production in the end. If you have a problem with gonadotropin releasing hormone, it will affect testosterone. If you have a problem in your pituitary gland, so a benign tumor, it will affect follicle stimulating hormone or luteinizing hormone. There's also diseases associated, immunodisorders and diseases and illnesses that can affect follicle stimulating hormone. There's STIs and STDs that can affect the follicle stimulating hormone. So if you've got testicular damage or prostate, if you've got a problem with your prostate, it can affect follicle stimulating hormone and therefore testosterone production. If you have problems that increase or decrease the amount of sex hormone binding globulin in your body to dangerous levels, or albumin, or another hormone, DHEA. Where is it? I've probably got it written down somewhere else. A process that happens in the testicles. Then that can affect testosterone expression. So this is why, like, we want to get your natural states. Like, we want to get your diet, your workouts, your sleep, your stress, your mates, your accountability. We want to and great structure and great drive for life. We want to get this up to increase to its natural, optimal testosterone potential as much as we can, naturally. And then, like, if your test results are still showing like, oh, something's not quite right, or if it's showing something's not quite right from the get-go, that's when we want to get like medical advice as to what's going on, why am I still feeling like shit even though I'm doing everything right to increase testosterone levels. But obviously I personally want to leave medical intervention as a last resort. That's for fucking sure. Beautiful. So this is just what happens. Just briefly described it. So obviously, all these things can go wrong in your body to affect testosterone production in the end. How do we, like I mentioned just now, how do we boost testosterone in a nutshell? How do we increase it? How do we decrease it? By removing shit. That's the big one. Removing things that are disrupting your hormone homeostasis. And then increasing things that are going to optimize your hormones even better. So now, guys, what I want you to do, complete prep work if you haven't done so already. Get your blood tests done. I prefer blood tests over saliva, more accurate. But again, circling back, a great test, do you have morning wood or not? Like, that's the big one. And with your blood tests, always get them done first thing in the morning. Fasted. Take that shit seriously. Let's train hard for the next 3 to 4 months or longer. I've got clients who have been working with for much longer than 3 or 4 months. Let's change diet so it's more enjoyable, easy, and less testosterone inhibiting or hormone damaging, hormone manipulating. And let me know. Talk to me, guys. I don't want you wouldn't take financial advice from someone who's homeless. When shit gets hard in this program, I don't want you to take your own advice on motivation levels and discipline levels and self-worth and confidence. You're taking the advice of someone who's not proven to be confident and motivated over the last several months or disciplined. You're essentially taking financial advice from someone who's homeless. You yourself, you're in a state where you want to have success in health and fitness and testosterone, and whether that impacts other areas of your life. I'm your expert to help you get there, and I need communication. I'm not going to keep chasing you if you're not communicating to me freely. I enjoy you telling me what's going on. I do not enjoy me having to follow up and chase you what's going on. Stop being like a little boy. Stop being, this isn't high school. I'm not your mum. Let's get to work. Tell me what's going on, guys. Don't be ashamed to hide or hide what's going on in your life. Like this isn't that program. I'm not your best friend who you're worried is going to make fun of you or demonize you or anything. I'm the opposite. In a good way. So talk to me, gents. All right, cheers. I'll go into the next module. Let's get to work.